So, shall we start with the pranam mantra, Swamiji?
Yeah, please.
Namah Shri Yatirajaya Vivekananda Suraya Satchit Sukha Swarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. So, we are reading this Vedantism lecture, which is the reply to the address by the welcome address by the Hindus of Jaffna. So, the subject is very large and the time is short. A full analysis of the religion of the Hindus is impossible in one lecture. I will therefore present before you the salient points of our religion in as simple language as I can. The word Hindu, by which it is the fashion nowadays to style ourselves, has lost all its meaning, for this word merely meant those who lived on the other side of the river Indus, in Sanskrit Sindhu. This name was murdered into Hindu by the ancient Persians, and all the people living on the other side of the river Sindhu were called by them Hindus. Thus, this word has come down to us, and during the Mohammedan rule, we took up the word ourselves. There may not be any harm in using the word of course, but as I have said, it has lost its significance, for you may mark that all the people who live on this side of the Indus in modern times do not follow the same religion as they did in ancient times. The word therefore covers not only Hindus proper, but Mohammedans, Christians, Jains, and other people who live in India. I therefore would not use the word Hindu. What word should we use then? The other words which alone we can use are either the Vedikas, followers of the Vedas, or better still the Vedantists, followers of the Vedanta. Most of the great religions of the world owe allegiance to certain books which they believe are the words of God or some other supernatural beings, and which are the basis of their religion. Now, for all these books, according to the modern savants of the West, the oldest are the Vedas of the Hindus. A little understanding, therefore, is necessary about the Vedas. Shall I continue?
Continue, continue. One more page. Yeah.
Okay. This mass of writing called the Vedas is not the utterance of persons. Its date has never been fixed, can never be fixed, and according to us, the Vedas are eternal. There is one salient point which I want you to remember, that all the other religions of the world claim their authority as being delivered by a personal God or a number of personal beings, angels, or special messengers of gods unto certain persons. While the claim of the Hindus is that the Vedas do not owe their authority to anybody, they are themselves the authority, being eternal, the knowledge of God. They were never written, never created, they have existed throughout time, just as creation is infinite and eternal, without beginning and without end, so is the knowledge of God without beginning and without end. And this knowledge is what is meant by the Vedas, with, to know. The mass of knowledge called the Vedanta was discovered by personages called rishis, and the rishis is defined as a mantra drashta, a seer of thought, not that the thought was his own. Whenever you hear that a certain passage of the Vedas came from a certain rishi, never think that he wrote it or created it out of his mind. He was the seer of the thought which already existed. It existed in the universe eternally. This sage was the discoverer, the rishis were spiritual discoverers. Shall I stop?
Mm, okay. Jananīṃ Śāradāṃ Devīṃ Rāmakrishnaṃ Jagadgurum Pādapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamāmi Muhurmuhu Namah Shri Yatirājaya Vivekananda Suraye Satchit Sukasvarupaya Swamine Tapaharine. Yeah, dear devotees, in the lectures from Colombo to Almora, the first lecture we have finished, and we are trying to discuss today the second lecture given by Swamiji in Jaffna. So now, if you read the entire lectures from Colombo to Almora, that's one of the wonderful book or the work of Swami Vivekananda, which stirred the entire Indian mindset in those days. Now also it is doing it, no doubt. As I know, quite a few youngsters who read lectures from Colombo to Almora, and they became revolutionaries, or they became freedom fighters, or they started loving their country and religion. And apart from that, at least I have heard a couple of monks who, after reading lectures from Colombo to Almora, they decided that they will dedicate their life in the knowledge pursuit, or in the God realization, or in the self realization. And many joined the order, or they took the spiritual path very seriously. Apart from all these things, the Indians who were the part of British India, who had lost their self confidence, who had lost their confidence on their own country, their own religion, on culture, uh, or the what you say value about their own philosophy, everything, most of these values were brought back by Swami Vivekananda's lectures, which is the part of the lectures from Colombo to Almora. So these lectures have got a lot of historical significance apart from the philosophical significance. So that we should keep this in the mind. Now Swamiji is telling that first and foremost, this is a report here. So if you see the in the beginning of the lecture itself, so there they say Swamiji gave a lecture on Vedantism, a report of which is here appended. So I'm not very sure when you say report, whether verbatimly, whether they have put the Swamiji's sentences, or just it has been given by any reporter in the nutshell. I am not very sure, and I even probably have to make a bit a survey or research. Anyhow, now Swamiji is telling, because to speak on Hinduism is or Vedantism, Hinduism, it takes a lot of time. In the given point of time, we cannot discuss all the things. So I will give in the nutshell, or I will give the summary of the Hinduism he is speaking. So, like outlines of Hinduism or the summary of Hinduism has been given by Swamiji. And that is also, we don't know whether verbatimly has been put or whether it is a report. So this, when you go research, when you do research, when you go deeply, all these points will come. Anyhow, now first and foremost, Swamiji has taken the word, or is discussing about the word called Hinduism. So if you see the whole para, this is called active reading. So when we read, we keep on reading it. That's the one thing. Once a para, once you read, then you should be able to summarize what the author or speaker is going to speak. Now this whole word, this one para, which is quite a big para, the whole word, if you see, Swamiji is telling what is the definition, or what is the meaning of the word Hindu. And apart from that, any other word can be replaced. The history and the meaning, etymological meaning of the word Hindu, and is there any other word which can replace the word Hindu. So these are the 2 points which Swamiji is discussing in the first para. So when you start reading, if you can make this type of analytical reading, then you will be able to understand. So like each para can be summarized into one or two sentences, and one or three sentences maybe, or a few words. Then if you do that, the whole lecture, if you see few sentences, few words, then the whole lecture can be remembered or can be connected. These are all when you go deeply reading, studying, and all these things comes into picture. Just to understand Swamiji's ideas, or to get some motivation, or as a part of practical spiritual practice, when you are reading, all these things are not required. So because sometimes I fear whether I'm going too deep, or whether I'm getting too heavy on all of you. That is the reason. Just I'm over cautious about all these things. So anyhow, but I'm making a point so that if any one of you want to study in deep, and if you want to link all these things, just for you as a reference. Now Swamiji is taking the word Hindu. Now, the history of the word Hindu, if you see our religion name, what is the actual religion, I mean, name at all? Is there any name? Actually, there was no name, or even for our discussion's sake, we can say that it is called Sanatana Dharma. Our religion name, Hinduism, whatever we call today, so it was called by Sanatana Dharma. So, what is Sanatana? Very ancient. The beauty of this word Sanatana, it is very ancient, but at the same time ever refreshing. Why? 3 days, 4 days food, if you keep it, we don't like it. Or 5 year or 10 year before Nokia model, if you go, if you have got anything, like for example, your parents have given, or XYZ has given, so you have got your own emotional link, emotional attachment to that Nokia mobile, and it was not working, and you go to a shop, mobile repair shop, and said, sir, it is not working, can you change, or can you repair? He say, oh madam, please, for God's sake, please don't bring, this is the old one, after a few years you can keep in a I mean, you keep in a museum, so it will become an antique piece, so it is outdated, ma'am, please don't keep it. If you want to keep, just you can keep as a remembrance, but we cannot work out. So 5 years, 6 years, or 10 years at the most, the mobile has become obsolete, and it has lost its value, lost its significance, lost its what do you say, necessity or value or whatever. Now, when we say the word our Sanatana, it is very ancient. How much ancient? Even the people didn't have the sense of history, the sense of time or history. Even then, from then onwards, it is there. Such ancient it is our dharma. Oh, it is very ancient, very old. That means it is outdated. Many times our children, they speak, oh, you are all speaking all rituals and all, they're all old zamana, oh, they're all belong to old time, it's all outdated. We may argue, that's fine, but when you say it is ancient, it is not old and outdated. It is old, but it is not outdated. It is very what do you say, very much relevant even to this present day, and it is ever refreshing. Oh, it is a old one, old movie. We don't like. We want to see new movie because we are not interested. Because new movies have got new things, and old movies are black and white, or they are not studio settings, and all things are not good. Some of us may feel, some of us may think. So like that, you cannot say that it is a old and it is a obsolete. No, it is ever refreshing, and even this to this present day, it is very pragmatic, very practical, and very relevant. So that is the meaning of the Sanatana. So our dharma name was Sanatana. And apart from that, this word Hindu, how it came? The Persians. Who are these Persians? The Iranians. We all know Iran. So the Persians were Iranians, and they were nothing but Zoroastrianians. Zoroastrianism. Now, for example, Jamshedji Tata, who is called Parsi. So the Parsis come from Persians. Their homeland was Iran, but now Iran has become fully Sunni Muslim country. But before that, before the advent of Islam and entering the Islam, it was a Zoroastrianism. This Zarathustra, the founder of Zoroastrianism, Zarathustra, he was the founder of that Zoroastrianism. They were also fire worshippers. So they, in their religion, or sorry, in their language, they didn't have a word called sa. For example, sa, they didn't have. For example, in Bengal, as you know, you don't have a word called va. I mean, we used to make a joke, how Bengalis speak of Vivekananda. like walking, Swami Vivekananda is walking on the veranda. If you tell Swami Vivekananda is walking on the veranda, I mean, on the lighter side, I'm telling you, don't take it seriously. Yeah, don't get offended, of course. So because there is no va, you use word ba, isn't it? And we used to make a joke. How do the Bengalis chant mantra pushpam? Actually, it is called Yomam Pushpam Veda. Yomam Pushpam Veda, then Jomam Pushpam Veda. That's how it becomes. So it is anyhow, it is a limitation of the language, you can say. It is a uniqueness of the language, you can say. So similarly, Persians also had a limitation of their own language or uniqueness. They didn't had a sa. So in the place of sa, they used to replace the sa into ha. So because they were Iranians in between the Sindhu River, the people who are living across the other side of the Sindhu, so they are called Sindhus. So when they wanted to use the word Sindhus because they didn't have Sa, they replaced Ha, and that's how it became Hindus. So the word Hindu is something to do with the geography, not with particular sect, not with particular religion, not with particular people or the followers of any sect or any dharma or whatever. So that's what Swamiji is saying that. So Hindu was a geography. It had its geographical significance. It was nothing to do something with the religion. So from that angle, whoever is living in the present India, Pakistan, all of them are Hindus. Even if you take from the India, even at least in the present political map, whatever we have got Hindu India, all Christians, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, and Sanatana Dharmis or Vaidikas, all of them put together can be called as Hindus according to this. But when till then we had only Buddhism and Jainism, that was anyhow, it was a part of our culture and country, we didn't think much about it. But when the Muslims came, when they started attacking on us, when there was a foreign religion came to us, then we had to protect ourselves. Our country had to be protected, our culture, our women, our gold, everything had to be protected. Then slowly, slowly, India started getting consolidated. India started getting using their own identity because identity crisis can come. So then they started using the word Hindu for our Sanatana Dharma. And Muslims also they took it Hindustan, Hindustan, Hindustan. That's how Hindu, the word Hindu, it lost its geographical significance and it was ascribed to the people who are following the particular faith or particular religion or particular dharma or whatever. That's what Swamiji is saying. That. So in the Mohammedan rule, especially it became the one pertaining to one religion. But Swamiji says that there is no mistake or there is no problem in that. Hmm. Now, Swamiji is saying that I prefer different word for these Hindus. What is he saying? Either you can say Vaidikas or Vedantins. So you can say Sanatanis or Sanatana Dharmis. That's the one ancient we have got. But Swamiji is saying that instead of using the word Hindu, I prefer either you take the word Vaidika or Vedantin. And of course, his liking was more towards Vedantin. Why? Because if you see in the classical philosophy, in the classical Indian philosophy, who is called Astika and Nastika, theist and atheist, we all say that whoever believes in God is a theist and who doesn't believe in God is atheist. That is what the general meaning. But in the Indian classical philosophy, that was not the case. Who accept in the authority of Vedas, they were called Astikas, and who doesn't accept Vedas, accept the authority of Vedas, they were Nastikas. Whether you believe in God or not, they were not bothered. Ancient Indians, they were only bothered about the Vedas. That's how even Sankyans were Nirishwaravadins. They don't accept Ishvara, they don't accept God, but still they were called Astikas. Why? Because they accept the authority of Vedas. So that's how we have got 9 darshanas. Darshana means again, it is a way of philosophy, but darshana means view of reality. Darshana means view of reality. So for us, philosophy is not the intellectual gymnasium like a Westerners. That's what Swamiji says. For us, philosophy is a way or approach to the truth. So Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa, that is Vedanta, all were darshanas. They were school of philosophy, but they really their goal is what? To reach the ultimate, to experience the ultimate. So for that they have created a path in here. So Charvaka, Materialism, Jainism, and Buddhism. These three schools of philosophy were called Nastika Darshanas because they didn't accept the authority of Vedas. Now, Nyaya philosophy, their Prachina Nyaya, Navya Nyaya, these are there, fine. Then Vaisheshika, atomic theory is there, Sankhyans and Yoga, Purva Mimamsa and Uttara Mimamsa. All of them accept the authority of Vedas. That's why they were all called Astika Darshanas. So the root of the Indian philosophy, the root of the Indian culture, the root of the Indian thinking or Indian values is what Vedas. So Vedas are the basic scriptures for us. That's why Swamiji is saying that. So instead of using the word Hindus, I prefer to use the word Vaidika. Who is Vaidika? Who follows, who accepts the authority of the Vedas. So Vaidika means it is not only Brahmins or it is not only priests, Brahmin priests. Every Hindu, whoever accepts the authority of Vedas, everyone is Vaidika. So for an example, now someone is in Ireland. If he accepts the authority of Veda, can he be Vaidika? Yes. So, and Swamiji is saying that maybe Vedanta can be much more appropriate word. Why? Because the Vedanta has become it has penetrated very deep into our culture, and everyone more or less we are all accepted and we are following Vedantic philosophy more because many rituals we have left, but the Vedantic philosophy somehow or other, you can say Madhvacharya's Dvaitism, Dvaita philosophy, or Ramacharya's Vishtadvaita, Shankaracharya's Advaita, Nimbarkas, Vallabha, or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Like that, there are so many acharyas. All of them have got different Vedantic philosophy. So all of us, indirectly or indirectly, we are following this Vedantic philosophy. So Vedantin, using the word Vedantin for the Hindus is a better choice. That's what Swamiji is saying. Now, after that, how Swamiji is beautifully connected, you see. So, we are all Vedikas, we are all Vedantins, and Vedas are the basic authority, basic scriptures for all of us. You may follow Smrutis, you may follow Tantra Shastras, you may follow Agamas, Shaivagamas are there. Then there is a Pancharatra in the Vaishnavism. Pancharatra school philosophy is there, Bhagavata school of philosophy is there. So many schools of philosophies are there. And apart from that, we have got Shaivais who accept Shiva as a supreme, Vaishnavais who accept Vishnu as supreme. Then there were a school of a particular sect called Ganapatyas. Now it is not there, of course. Ganapatyas is for them Ganapati is a supreme, and there were people Sauryas. Sauryas means who accept Surya as a supreme deity, and Shaktas, which you know from most of you know. Shaktas is who used to worship Mother, Divine Mother as the supreme. All these different sects, but they all accept Vedas. So now Swamiji started explaining what is Veda then. How Swamiji is connecting one point by point, idea by idea. So what is Veda? So Vedas are the basic scriptures for our India, or for Hindus, or for Sanatana Dharmis, or for Vaidikas, or for Vedantins. So it is the oldest scripture. Now Zoroastrians, they have got their own scripture. I think Talmada or Talmadadi, something they will say. And if you see very interestingly, 75% of the Zoroastrian scripture and our Rigvedic scripture, there's a lot of resemblance. And very one more interesting story, probably point I would like to tell you, which is out of the talk. Most of you know, whoever has read the Gospel of Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna tells a beautiful story. One of the story, Homa bird story. The Homa bird flies very high and it lays eggs in the sky itself and keeps on falling, and so high while falling itself the egg gets hatched, and the bird before if it touches the ground it gets dashed. Immediately before touching the ground it flies. So when I was reading, suddenly I got a question: where did Sri Ramakrishna pick this story? So I made some survey in Vedas. At least I didn't find. And some other scriptures. No, I asked some Pandits also. They also said we have never heard all these things. Then what to do? Okay, as a faith and devotion, we can accept this, fine. But where did Sri Ramakrishna got this story? Or did he, or just he thought, or out of imagination did he mention this? This was a question. It haunted me for a good time. Then afterwards, very interestingly, when I was discussing with one of the monk, he gave the wonderful reference that in the Zoroastrian scripture, this story has been mentioned itself. Now you see how, when did Thakur read the Zoroastrian scripture? I don't think there is no evidence. So because he has, I mean, he is connected to the cosmic mind, we can say that's how we can get the universal knowledge, cosmic knowledge. Probably he told how the minds can be interlinked, universal mind. When you link, how can you get the information knowledge? So when I heard that, I was really astonished. So Sri Ramakrishna told the story of the Homa bird, which is in the Zoroastrianism or their scripture. Anyhow, so Vedas are the oldest scriptures. So compared to Bible or Quran or any other religion, every religion has their own scriptures. Compared to all the scriptures, world religion scriptures, the Vedas, which is a Rig Veda especially, Vedas are the ancient scripture, are the oldest scripture. Now you say oldest means Rig Veda is the oldest. What about Atharva Veda, Sama Veda and all? So that question may come for all of you. Now you should understand, earlier there were no four types of Vedas, four divisions. There was only one mass wisdom basically. Everyone has to study. Whoever is to read, study Vedas, and he had to study the entire thing. So Veda Vyasa, during Mahabharata time they say. So he thought the entire mass is too huge. Now, for example, Rigveda itself has got 25,000 shlokas or 25,000 verses. So each Veda, that entire mass will be difficult for a common, at this given point of time, human mind cannot comprehend, cannot study. It will be difficult. He understood and he thought, and he divided into four parts. And he gave that each part, each Veda into one of his disciple, and that's how from the parampara, from Guru Shishya parampara, the Rig Veda, Atharvana Veda, Sama Veda, and Yajur Veda, all these things got four parts and four types of Vedas, and that's how the tradition started. Otherwise, there was no very ancient tradition. If you go, there was no four parts. So that's how we say always Vedas are the oldest. Vedas are the oldest from what point? Because the division came much later. Before that, it was consolidated. It was a one huge amount of literature. Okay. Now Vedas is the oldest scripture. So we can take a pride. Our religious scripture, which is Veda or Vedas, is the ancient, the oldest scripture in the world. We can take the pride in that. Now, what is this Veda? This Veda comes from the root, Sanskrit root called Vid. Vid means what? To know. So Vedas means it is the treasure house of wisdom. So Shankaracharya, while writing Kathopanishad Bhashya, in the introduction itself, he beautifully mentions quite a few points. There he tells, Vedas means we don't mean books. If you go in library, you will see Rig Veda as a book, Yajur Veda as a book, Sama Veda in a book format, you see Atharvana Veda, you see in a book format. Then what does he mean? So Vedas means it is not a book. Don't get confused. Vedas means it is treasure house of wisdom. And who are the authors of the Vedas? For example, Kalidasa has given, what do you say, Raghuvamsha. And whatever the Smriti followed, especially in Bengal, Raghunandana Smriti, that Raghunandana Smriti has been composed by who? From Raghunandana. Manusmriti has been composed by whom? Manu. Padma Purana has been written or composed by whom? Vyasa. Veda Vyasa, we all know that. So like that, who is the author of the Veda? Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana. Who are the authors? If you say, then there is no author at all. How can come? How can, without any author, how the book can be written or can be composed? So the Vedas are eternal and it is Apaurusheya. So Vedas are Apaurusheya. Purusha, Apurusha. Means Vedas are not written by any one person. It is not written by person at all. It is not written by any human at all. That is why it is called Apaurusheya. It is not written or composed by any Purusha. Again, so ladies should not feel that Apaurusheya means only so they are speaking of male, not about female. Here Purusha means it is not any gender. It is like human being. So it is not composed by Purusha, stands for human being. It is not written or composed by any human being. because even if you see Vedas, we have got a lot of Rishi Patnis also,
Sure.
ladies also, we can see Mantra Dashtar. Then how did we get this Vedas? So what is the nature of Veda? If you see, it is revelatory text. It is a revelatory text. It is. And when it was written, 5,000 year, 3,000, 2,000, 10,000, a lot of things has been discussed, no doubt. We keep on telling that based on the language, scholars have tried to understand the time, but according to the traditionally accepted is, it is eternal. It exists at all times. At some point of time, it might have been revealed to some Rishi. So that doesn't mean that, say, 3,000 years before or 5,000 years before this Rigveda mantra has been revealed to particular Rishi, maybe, but it is not that is the time which this Veda has been written. No, because it is eternal. Only it got revealed to him at that given point of time, you can say. So Vedas are eternal according to us. So the Vedas are revealed for whom? So Vedas are revealed to Rishis. Who are these Rishis? They are nothing but scientists. So it is not because the film or serial effect. Oh, Rishis means what? They will be using a orange color cloth, and they will have a big beard, and they'll be living in the forest and eating the roots and fruits or whatever. No, none of them. None of them is the definition of the Rishi. Rishi means what? The person who has dedicated his life to in searching the truth. So that means what? Scientist. So it can be in the empirical world or it can be in the spiritual world also. So Rishi means what? It is scientist, that's all. So some they might have got a beard. So if he doesn't have a beard, then can he not be Rishi? No, definitely. So then why they were eating roots and fruits or vegetables or whatever? Probably they didn't want to waste their time in cooking, because cooking, eating, and whatever cleaning and a lot of time goes away. After coming in the West, I understood how Indians we spend a lot of time in half of our life in kitchen itself. I understood, isn't it? So they didn't want to spend or waste their time in cooking and eating and washing the utensils or whatever. So they led the simple life. So whatever naturally available, they used it, eat, and just they take care of their time in the knowledge pursuit. So that's the reason probably they spent most of their time in the knowledge pursuit. That's why they were had a simple living. That's how they were living in the forest, so that they could spend their time in the knowledge. Anyhow, so Durshis are nothing but the mantra drashta. Swamiji used the word mantra drashtara. Mantra drashta. Drashta means again the seer. So for him, the mantras were revealed. For example, if you know Ganesha Tarva, Ganesha Atharva Shirsha, if you have read, any one of you have heard, there you say Ganaka Rushihi, Richud Gayatri Chandaha, Shri Ganapatir Devata. So every mantras will have a Rushi. So this Ganesha Atharva Shirsha, whichever say, who is the Rushi? For whom it got revealed? It got revealed to Ganaka Rushi. So there was a Rushi by name Ganaka. For him, this Ganapati Atharva Shirsha was revealed for him. So what is the chandas meter? If you say Gayatri Chanda or Pankti Chanda or Ganakushin, Richud Gayatri. There are in Gayatri Chandas itself there are different Daivi Gayatri, in Richud Gayatri or Gayatri and all. So that meter, the chandas is Richud Gayatri. And who is the deity, preceding deity of that Ganapati Atharva Shirsha? Ganapati. So like that, every mantra will have the mantra dashtara. He is the mantra dashtara, he is the Rishi. For example, Vishwamitra. Now Gayatri mantra we also Om Bhurbhuva Swatat Savitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimai Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. We all chant. Now who is the Rishi? Vishwamitra Rishi. So for Vishwamitra Rishi, this mantra was revealed. So he, out of compassion, out of helping nature to the common people, to the humankind, he transferred his knowledge to us. Now the question should come for all of you, at least it came to me when I heard this statement. So Vishwamitra, it revealed for him, fine, no problem. Then Vishwamitra comes in where? During Ramayana time. That means in Satya Yuga, that means people were unaware of this Gayatri mantra then. Only, Treta Yuga, I think Treta Yuga, no? In Rama's time it's called Treta Yuga. So only in Treta Yuga, only then Gayatri mantra came. In Satya Yuga, Gayatri mantra was not there. So this question came for me. I don't know whether it is fortunate or unfortunate. This question came for me. Then I started thinking. Then I asked Pandit. Then Pandit said, "Yes, your question is very appropriate." So then he or she explained that this Vasishtha. I had heard about Vyasa. Then I came to know that even Vasishtha, Vishwamitra, Vyasa, all these are status. It is like a position. It is not a. It is a pronoun. It is not a noun. So there can be so many Vasishtas. There can be so many Vishwamitras. There can be so many Vyasas. Just like an IAS officer, for example, Prime Minister or Chief Minister, isn't it? So like that, there's a state. So there's a interesting thing you see. So these questions, when they ask, so in Satya Yuga, was the Gayatri Mantra was not there? Yes, it was there. Then Vishwamitra comes in Treta Yuga. Then what about that? Oh yes, Vishwamitra, one of the Vishwamitra comes in Treta Yuga. He belongs to Kaushiki Vamsha. Kaushika, his name is. So he belongs to the clan or Vamsha called Kaushika Vamsha. So that he's not that Vishwamitra we are speaking. He's a different Vishwamitra who was always there, who was already there. So that's why Vishwamitra in Samasa, because of Samasa, it comes Vishwa Dirga, Vishwamitra. So one who is considering, one who is observing, or one who is perceiving the whole world and people and everyone in the Samatva Bhava, he is called Vishwamitra. So one who has attained this state, he or she can be attained, called as Vishwamitra. Same thing is Vasishta. Vase tishtanti indriyani yasya saha. They say in Taittiriya Aranyaka, this definition comes of Vasishta. One whose indriyas, 5 sense organs we have got, Pancha Jnanendriyas, one who has completely controlled the Pancha Jnanendriyas, he is called Vasishta itself. So the Vasishta whom we see in Ramayana is one of the Vasishta. There can be many Vasishtas. That's where if you see in the Saura Vamsha, in the starting from Manu or from Ikshvaku till Rama, we see Vasishta is the Kulapurohita. Thousands of years, how we can say, oh, in those days they were all great people, they could live as thousands of years. As a faith we say, but so-called rational people say, maybe, but very difficult to accept. Thousands of years, one person was living in the human body. Maybe possible, may not be possible, we will think. Now when you get here, you will get very understandable, very clear. So Vasishta was it's a status, it's a position. So there can be quite a few people who are Vasishtas. So Saura Vamsha, Surya Vamsha, Kulapurohita was Vasishta. It doesn't mean that only one Vasishta, one person was there. There were so many people. So that's how Mantra Dastaras comes into picture. Anyhow, I will let me not go too many things. Yeah. So Vishwamitra or Vasishta, they were all like one Rishis. So the Vedika mantras, they were Rishis. And Rishi Itris are also there. Rishi Itris means what? Lady Rishis. Like we have got monks and nuns, Kavi and Kavayitri. So Rishi Itri also there. There were so many Rishi Patnis also were there. For example, Devi Sukta. The Devi Sukta is from one of the lady, Rishi Patni, we can say. So it was only revelatory text. And one more interesting point they say, for Veda, for Vedic philosophy, or for Vedantins or Vedikas, the creation is very eternal. Swamiji is making it. Creation is eternal. Now, when you have heard Tattva Bodha, when you have heard Aparoksha Anubhuti, immediately question comes, Swamiji, what is this? Highly confusing. You say Brahma Satya, Jagan Mithya. Jagan Mithya, you say, the world is an appearing, it is a projection, or Maya, and so many things we have discussed and we have broken our head to understand. Now you are saying that Vedas are saying that creation is eternal. Is it not confusing? No. Why? When I say creation is eternal, what does it mean? So it is like it is in consonance with the science. Law of conservation of energy, law of conservation of momentum. No energy can be created, no new energy can be created, and no energy can be destroyed. That means what? The sum and total amount of energy is constant always. It is only changing. It can take different forms, but it cannot be destroyed, neither created nor destroyed. So similarly, yeah, when we say creation is eternal, so there was something which is in unmanifested state, and it came to manifested state, and again it went to unmanifested state. From unmanifested state, when it is getting into taking the manifestation, that is called creation, srushti. And when there is a manifested state, that is called sthiti or palana. And when the thing is in manifested state, when it goes into the unmanifested state, that process is called pralaya, or actually it is called laya. So Sushti, Sthiti, Laya, this is constantly happening. I get up, a whole day I take care, and again I go back to sleep. That Sruti Laya is constantly happening for us in every day. So similarly, at the universal level, this Srushti Sthiti Laya, it keeps on happening. From unmanifested state, it goes to manifest, and manifested to unmanifested. Again, that cycle will be keep on happening. So from that point of view, we say that creation is eternal. Anyhow, so now Vedas. So Vedas accept that creation is eternal. And Swamiji is telling one more point. Vedas are apaurushaya. It is not written by any person, individual person. It is a revelatory text for whom it got revealed, for rishis. And what is Veda? Treasure house of wisdom. And not only that, for if you see Quran, the scripture, it got revealed by the angels to a prophet. And for an example, if you see the Bible, it is again from a prophet it has come. Buddhism has been given the teachings of the Buddha. Jainism from the Tirthankaras. Either you can say from the angels they got, or from a prophet they got, a prophet, or from a messenger of God, you can say. Now, whereas if you see, it is not from the Vedas, it is not from one Rishi or two or three or five, there are a n number of Rishis. So this is one of the big attack from the Semitic religions. You don't have one God, you don't have got one scripture, you don't have got one prophet. That is why Hinduism cannot be called as a religion at all. So this is an attack done by Semitic religions on the Hinduism. Now Swamiji is giving an answer. Why should be one God? Why should be one prophet? Why should be one text? There can be many. That is our uniqueness. That is the significance and uniqueness of our religion, of our culture. Why don't you accept? And why you want to put everyone in your shoes or in your own idea or own thought? So when you understand all these things, when you think deeply, then you will get a lot of clarity about your understanding. Anyhow, now the rishis he spoke, and the rishis, he said, the spiritual discoverers Swamiji uses. That's what mantra dashtaras. Now he's telling that Vedas are classified into two categories or two divisions. One is Karmakanda, the other is Jnanakanda. Kanda means part, actually, part, and then karma. So that part is especially describing or pertaining to karma, actions, that is Vedic rituals, yaga, yagnas, and all. Here Gnana Kanda means the part, the portion which is ascribed, which is mainly discussing the gnana, the knowledge. Now, the Vedas, any Veda if you take, broadly classification is Karma Kanda, the other is Jnana Kanda. And if you go little further, little go into deep, then the Karma Kanda has been subdivided into three sections. One is Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Jnana Kanda, only Jnana Kanda only. Now, the former part of the Vedas or Karma Kanda has been subdivided into, can be classified into three parts: Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka. Now, what is this Samhita concept? Now, the entire Veda, either Jnanakanda or Karmakanda, all of them have got Vedic mantras only. But the nature, if you see, the Samhita portion describes the nature of the deities, and they try to prize the deities. Who is Indra? Who is Varuna? Who is Rudra? Who is Marut? Who is Bruhaspati? Who is Shashanka? Eulogy we say. Oh Indra, you are such a great person. So, praising the deities, praising the demigods, or praising the Vedic deities, we can see mainly in the Samhita portion. Now, in the Brahmana portion, The Vedic mantras, they describe how to perform yagnas, Darshamasa yagna, or Purnayamasa yagna, or Agnihotra. So like that, there are different type of sacrifices, how one should perform. Agnihotram joihat, dadna joihat. From milk you should do. If you don't have milk, then you can do from the ghee. Unlike that, there are different type of dravyas comes. Like Soma Yaga, from which, what type of dravyas we should use. That has been discussed in the Brahmana. And to do perform Somayaga, you have to prepare Vedic altar. How to build Vedic altar, in which direction, in what way, what all things we should need. All these things have been, especially from the ritualistic point of view, the Vedic rituals to do that, whatever the things we have to, we need basic things, all things has been discussed in the Brahmana. Now, a lot of Vedic rituals are there, a lot of people are required, a lot of dravyas, that is, material is required and all. They were go on doing it, no doubt. But slowly, slowly, the Vedic rishis themselves, as a humankind or Vedic rishis themselves, they started questioning, is it required that all these sectional worships, we keep on doing it? Is it the end of the life? Is there anything else? Is there any way out from this? Because they also felt, probably, can we come out from this? Then they started internalizing the Vedic rituals. For example, Ashwamedha Yaga. It comes in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. Ashwamedha Yaga has to be done by a king. We know that. And it is very huge ritual, elaborate ritual. It takes few months and it takes a lot of money, power, valor, so many people, etc. Now, if a common person, if he wishes to do perform Ashwamedha Yaga, can he do without any of them? Yes. He can meditate his body and he can he can start meditating on the different parts of the horse in his own body, and he can utter the mantras and he can perform Ashwamedha Yaga. So here you can see upasanas. The all external actions, external rituals started getting internalized. For example, when we take mantra diksha, our gurus teach that to perform mental worship, manasika puja. You feel that in your spiritual heart there is a God, in Sri Ramakrishna, for example, and you are offering padya, you are washing his feet, you are offering arghya or flowers, or you are bathing him, you are offering some food, you are waving incense sticks, waving arati and all. Manasika puja has been taught by our gurus. External worship we can do, and internal worship is also can do. So mostly the external rituals took the internal form of worship, Manasika Puja or Manasika Dhyana, especially, I mean to say, not completely like this. So the mental worship started, that is become the Aranyaka. Aranya means, I mean, in the forest. So people started living in solitude and they started exploring whether can it be internalized, all these things. That is what. So all these things, Samhita, Brahmana, Aranyaka forms the, what do you say, Karmakanda portion. Now, Yagna's over, Upasana, that is internal worship, internalizing over, then they started thinking knowledge person. What is the reality? Who is this creator? If we say God, who is this God? What is his nature? Where does he stay? Who am I? Before birth, where I am, where I was. After death, where will I go? All these speculations, philosophical speculations, that constitutes the Jnanakanda. That is what Upanishads we say. Upanishads are the part of the Jnanakanda. That's why Jnanakanda is called Vedanta. Veda Anta, because the end portion of the Vedas. That's why it's called Vedanta. Upanishads are Vedanta. It is nothing but, it is almost like syllogism, or what say, same meaning. And one more important point you should understand. Many times people say, "Oh, Vedas means all rituals. What is the use?" And you should doing all these things. So it is not that you and me we have to speak. In those days, it's thousands of years before, the Vedic rishis themselves, they have questioned the necessity of the Vedic rituals, and themselves they have traveled afar. This is the one of the important point of our Indian religion and Hindu religion, Vedic religion. Whatever they told in Bible or Quran, you have to follow there. No question at all. Now here, Vedas is foundation for us. Vedic rituals has been given by Vedic rishis, and the same rishis, they questioned it and they progressed it. Such a freedom we have given. The Vedic rishis themselves, they said, we have to perform yaga yagnas and we have to come out from the laziness, and with all, if you have got a lot of desires, perform these rituals and fulfill your desires. And after some time you feel, oh, no, 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 enough chocolate, I don't want to eat chocolate. Then if you want to have a diet and all, then you say yes. So if you don't want any kamya karmas, you don't want to restrict yourself with just the materialistic pursuits. If you want to think higher things, yes, there's a Jnanakanda. So there's a gradual evolution. There's a gradual, what you say, gradations in the human thought. One, from the laziness, instead of being a lazy, you work and earn whatever you want. I want money. I want progeny. I want wealth. I want good family. Yes, do all the sacrifices. Work. Here, sacrifices mean it is not only Vedic rituals, it also leads pancha yagnas, different 5 types of yagnas. All these things point. So when you keep on doing, when you are active and you are experiencing all the dualities and you are enjoying and you are suffering, you are struggling, all these things, slowly, slowly, your mind gets settled. Then you will get worship. Meditation is possible. Yeah, contemplation is possible. Then slowly, when your mind gets concentrated, mind gets maturity, then you start thinking, what is God? What is life? So you see, that's how a human mind gets evolved. The whole Veda represents this gradual evolution of the human being. And but when we went to Upanishads, but our forefathers, they didn't destroy or they didn't remove or they didn't deny the Karmakanda portion. Why? Because I have evolved, never mind. But my successive generations, whether I don't know whether they are evolved or not, whether they will be evolved or not. So let me keep so that whoever wants, in whichever state they are there, let them take. Someone may be in a very low portion, some may be in middle, some may be in a very high evolution. So according to your necessity and according to your mental state, you can take it. So every step of the progress in the religious life and spiritual life and philosophical speculations has been maintained and has been preserved by our Hindus. That's why so many sects, so many gods, so many scriptures. Whereas in the Semitic religions, whatever they feel they achieved the highest thing, after all the lower things, lower steps or the lowest things, they destroyed it. That is again uniqueness for us. Anyhow, so now Jnanakanda is there, and the essence of Vedas or Vedanta, which Swamiji speaks of, and this Vedantins, it is like dualish, Dvaitins, and qualified Manoish, that is Vishishtadvaitins, Manoish, that is what is Advaitins. Now, apart from that, Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakta, Saurava, Ganapatya, all of them are there, but all of them are belong to Hinduism or Vedika philosophy or Vedantins. And apart from that, they have got their own interpretations. So this much we can, I think, enough. Now, more or less, you have got an idea of Shrutis or Vedas. Then next week, I will take the explanation of the Smritis. Then you'll be able to understand. Yeah. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu. Yeah. Any doubt?
Maharaj, then Parashuram is also a pronoun, a position, because he is
Parashara.
Parashuram, because he is in Treta Yug, he is in Dapar Yug. So,
No, but generally it is not considered. Why? Because Parshuram is considered as the Amsha Avatara, incarnation of the God, Vishnu. Since
huh.
he is an incarnation, he can lead.
But other incarnations have died, they have gone. Means Rama is in Treta Yug only, Krishna is in Dwapar Yug only, but Parashuram is there in Treta Yug during Rama, Sri Rama. He is there
Yes.
during the Mahabharata because he was the teacher of Karna. So, and even Bhishma. So how it is possible?
God thought that let me live in that form eternally. Even today also Parshurama is there, they say. Some people have felt experienced in the Himalayas. So God thought, let me exist eternally in that Parshurama form.
Okay. So,
See, Parshurama is not only Rishi. I mean, if you say it is Rishi, yes, it is a play, it is a status we can say. But because generally our scriptures have told Parshurama as the Amsha Avatara. There are different in incarnations also there are different types. So one is called Amsha Avatara. So he is the partial representation of partial manifestation of the Vishnu. So when you take him as an avatara, then we cannot tell that there were many Parshurams. And we don't get any, what you say, indication or the reference like that.
So only Vashishta, Vishwamitra, Vyasa, they are the pronouns, they are the positions.
They are considered like Panini also is considered like that. Panini also is considered as like a surname, like yeah. So, see, I mean, everyone will not get this doubt. I get this type of
No,
doubts.
we also think that how is it possible that he is there and then he is here also, like. But
Yeah.
I have another means thought regarding that Vishwamitra, that since the whole creation process is repeated again and again, so for this kalpa, that Vishwamitra whatever he has seen, so it must be continued in the next kalpa Satya Yuga. Already it is seen by someone,
Yes, yes,
even if
yes.
he is in Dwapar Yuga. So maybe in the first Kalpa Dwapar Yuga he has seen it. So from after he has seen it, maybe in the next Kalpa Satya Yuga, which is coming after that, so that mantra is already there, and we don't know which one is the first creation.
Yes, that's
So
why
it is,
we say Vedas are eternal.
yeah.
So for him, it was revealed. That's all. In the next kalpa, some other Rishi may come. XYZ X Rishi may come. For X Rishi, the Gayatri mantra may reveal for him. So the X Rishi will be the mantra dashtara for the Gayatri mantra. In the next kalpa, we can say. Yes. That's why we say Vedas are eternal. Yes.
Maharaj, we have one means very basic question regarding that Pancha Mahayagya. That is that Pitri Yagya means Deva Yagya, Rishi Yagya, Pitri Yagya means
Mm.
we have some sort of modified version that we can do daily, like
Mm.
remembering God or some worship and reading some pages from the scripture or remembering the ancestors. But
Mm.
regarding that Nri Yagya and Bhuta Yagya,
Mm.
so for Nri Yagya, again, so it is not maybe not possible to help some others every day on everyday basis like that. So
Mhm.
so if these yajnas has to be performed every day, so
Mm.
how we can do it, that these two Nri yajna and Bhuta yajna. So for Nri
Bhuta
yajna,
Yajna is like taking care of any beings. Say, for an example, you are feeding a dog,
but I am not
you
an
are feeding
animal
ants,
person. I
any
don't
animals.
I don't
And
like that.
not only that, environmental protection, ecology preservation, if you are doing it, even that also comes in Bhuta Yajna.
Okay.
Now you are trying to contribute something for the environment, what do you say, protection of environment. For example, you are trying to avoid the use of plastic, isn't it? So that also can be taken as a, what do you say, Bhuta Yajna. Bhuta Yajna is not only just feeding animals. That is one of the thing, feeding animals and taking care of the environment, ecology. I mean, all these things comes into Bhuta Yajna. Yeah. Also, in the olden days, people used to feed dogs whatever food is left out. They used to call dogs and they used to give. And some people used to go and give some water or some grains to the pigeons or birds. And some they used to go and use, semolina, that is rava, suji are the sugar to the ants and all. So it's a part of Bhuta Yajna actually. Yeah.
Yes, but means that is not always possible. Means for we can do, but whatever the consequences, they are making some nuisance. So for that,
Every day, yes.
uh,
It's yes. I can understand that every day may not be possible to do Bhuta Yajna. That's okay.
okay.
That's okay. That's okay.
But for
You keep
Nriyagya,
the atmosphere clean, cleaning the house surroundings of your house. That is also Bhuta Yajna. So you
okay.
are trying to contribute to the cleanliness of the environment.
And for Nriyagya, when we are praying for the well-being of others, so that can be considered as the
welfare of others, welfare of our leaders, and following the rules, regulations. Yeah, that also can be true. Yeah.
Thank you, Maharaj. That is a very basic question. We are lingering for so
Well, I
many
have
days.
a question on regarding on this thing Pancha Yagna. There's Pitri Yagna is one thing is there. How is it possible to perform it every day? Annual or 6 monthly one can perform, paying respect to your ancestors or forefathers. How is it possible to perform this on a day-to-day basis?
Yes. So this is what I mean. So whenever when we say yagna, the I mean, it is not problem. The understanding is we have to do some sacrifice basically. We have to do some perform rituals. That's how we understand. So it is not actually that is one of the meaning. When you say Pitru Yagna, you should do okay annually once you are doing Mahalaya Amavasya or some other or you are, like when our elders have passed away on the same day or nearby day, we are doing some Shraddha karma. So that is one of the thing which we have to do. But that doesn't mean that is the only action pertaining to Pitru Yagna. So then what else? For an example, my parents or my elders have given some instructions for me to follow. Do this, don't do this, এরকম করবে না বাবা, আমাদের বাড়িতে এরকম নেই, এটা so some instructions they have given, some values they have given, you should do this, you should not do this. Even by following that values every day, the universal values or right values, even that also is a part of Pitru Yagna. Second, third is we have got our own family traditions. Tutelary deities, worshipping tutelary deities may be there, or trying to lead a good life so that our family will get a good name. Our family will never get any bad name from because of my action or because of my behavior. That also is a part of Pitru Yagna, isn't it? It is a gentlemanlyship. It is a understood. I mean, it is a common as a being a citizen, one should do that, all that, no doubt. But by following the our forefathers' values, even that is also a part of Pitru Yagna. It is not only doing Shraddha karma alone.
Got it, Maharaj. Thank you.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions? Shall I go this deep or no? Let me go little surface level.
No, no.
I know Children will say yes, but apart from others.
Others, please tell no whether you want this deep or not.
No, Maharaj, this is absolutely fine. We get to know so many things.
Get to know, but try to follow.
No, but now at least this Pancha Mahayagya,
Yeah,
that
that
is
is the
clear.
next
That
level.
is clear. Means we
Yeah.
were wondering about the remaining two. Three we are managing somehow, but the last two, because I am not a very animal person like that. So, but now as Maharaj said that we can take care of the ecology and this cleanliness and all that part we can do. I think it is doable. So, one more thing, Maharaj, that is this different question, means not related to this. This 33 gods or demigods that we are seeing, that Ashtabasu and Dadash Aditya and all, 11 Rudra. So, their name and all are different in different scriptures, in different Upanishads.
Yes. So now, for an example, Aditya, Rudra, and all, again, it is all a position. It is not a person. It is a power, you can say.
Yes.
Vasus, for an example, you say Vasus. Vasus, eight Vasus. So it is not a person again.
Means in Mahabharata we have seen that Bhishma was one of the Basus. So that is Pradyumna or Prabhas or something like that his name was. But in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad it says that it is this earth and sky and sun and nakshatra. So they are different, no? So
Yeah. So you can take is all positions and power actually. Yeah, yeah. Excuse me, I'm getting a call, one
Okay, okay,
important
okay.
call
Okay.
right now. Yeah,
Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you.
thank you.
Pranam Maharaj.
Pranam, Maharaj.
Namaste.
Pranam
Hello.
Maharaj.
Pranam Maharaj.